Hello students, let us continue chapter 14 Sources of Energy. Today we are going to discuss our next part of conventional sources of energy. It means thermal power plant, hydro power plant, etc. Let us discuss one by one. First of all, thermal power plant. The term thermal power plant is used since fuel is burned to produce heat energy which is converted into electrical energy. Large amount of fossil fuels are burnt every day in power stations to heat up water to produce steam. Turbine runs with this steam and generate electricity. Thermal power plants are set up near coal or oil fields because the transmission of electricity is more efficient than transporting coal or petroleum over the same distance. That's why fossil fuels are used in power plants, which is non-renewable source of energy. But power plants cause thermal pollution of water and several air pollutants are also generated. Next, hydropower plants. Hydropower plants convert the potential energy of falling water into electricity. A quarter of our energy requirement is met by hydropower plants in our country. Hydropower plants are mainly associated with dams. In order to produce hydel electricity, high-rise dams are constructed on the river. The flow of water is obstructed and thereby water is collected in large reservoirs. The water level rises and the kinetic energy of flowing water gets transformed into potential energy. The water from the upper levels in the dam is carried to the turbine at the bottom of the dam through the pipes. As turbine rotates, electricity is generated. This is the simple phenomena of hydropower plant. Now, their advantages: it is a non-polluting source of energy. It is more better. It is a renewable resource of energy because water in the reservoir would be refilled each time it rains. But there are some disadvantages regarding this. But constructions of big dams have certain problems associated with it. The dams can be constructed only in a limited number of places, preferably in hilly terrains. Large areas of agricultural land and human habitation are to be sacrificed as they get submerged. Large ecosystems are destroyed when submerged under the water in dams. The vegetation which is submerged rots under anaerobic conditions and gives rise to large amounts of methane, which is also a greenhouse gas. So, it creates the problem of satisfactory rehabilitation of displaced people. Opposition to the construction of Tehri Dam on the river Ganga and Sardar Sarovar project on the river Narmada are due to such problems. These are few examples regarding this. Now, improvement in the technology for using conventional sources of energy. Now, conventional sources of energy like thermal power plant, hydro power plant that we have discussed. Now, we are going to discuss the next conventional part of energy, that is biomass, biogas fuel. So, what is biomass? Let us discuss. The source of fuels like firewood, cow dung cake, etc. is known as biomass. These fuels are plant and animal products and hence called biomass energy. Wood has been used as a fuel for a long time. A continuous supply of firewood can be assured by plantation of enough trees is there, and if only branches of trees are used. Charcoal is left behind as a residue when wood is burned in a limited supply of oxygen. Along with that, water and volatile materials are removed. Now, charcoal burns without flames and is comparatively smokeless, having higher heat generation efficiency. Cow dung cakes are also used as a fuel. The large livestock population in India can also assure a steady source of fuel. However, wood and cow dung cakes do not produce much heat on burning and a lot of smoke is given out when they are burned. Therefore, technological inputs to improve the efficiency of these fuels are really very much necessary. Now, biogas. Biogas is a fuel gas produced by decomposition of cow dung, agricultural waste, vegetable waste, and sewage in absence of oxygen. Since the starting material is mainly cow dung, so it is popularly known as gobar gas. The use of biogas is beneficial as it is considered as an excellent fuel. It contains 75% of methane and burns without smoke, leaving no residue. Its heating capacity is so high. Biogas is used for lightning, and cooking, and the slurry left behind is removed periodically and used as an excellent manure rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. It is a safe and efficient method of waste disposal that utilizes large amount of bio-waste and sewage material besides supplying energy and manure. So this is one kind of conventional energy source and it is very useful. Now let us discuss about biogas plant. Biogas plant has a dome like structure built with bricks. A slurry is prepared by mixing of cow dung, residual plant material, vegetable waste, etc. with water in the mixing tank. From the mixing tank, slurry is fed into digester. The digester is a sealed chamber in which there is no oxygen. As shown in the figure, anaerobic microorganisms like methanogenic bacteria decompose or break down complex compounds of the cow dung slurry. It takes a few days for the decomposition process to complete. During the decomposition, gases like methane, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and hydrogen sulfide are generated. The biogas is stored in the gas tank above the digester from where it is drawn through pipes for their use. So, this is the biogas plant. Next conventional source of energy, that is wind energy and setup of windmills. Unequal heating of the landmass and water bodies by solar radiation generates air movement and causes wind to blow. This kinetic energy of the wind can be used to do work. Wind energy was harnessed by windmills in the past to do mechanical work. The rotatory motion of windmill was utilized to lift water from a well in a water lifting pump. Today, wind energy is used to generate electricity. A windmill essentially consists of a structure similar to a large electric fan that is erected at some height on a rigid support. The rotatory motion of the windmill is used to turn the turbine of electric generator and hence to generate electricity. The output of a single windmill is quite small and cannot be used for a commercial purpose. Therefore, a number of windmills are erected over a large area which is known as wind energy farms. The energy output of each windmill in a farm is coupled together to get electricity on a commercial scale. Now, some advantages and limitations of this wind energy and windmills. Wind energy is an environment friendly energy. So it is one of the advantage. It is efficient source of renewable energy. It requires no recurring expenses for the production of electricity. Even some limitations. Wind energy farms can be established only at those places where wind blows for the greater part of a year. The wind speed should be higher than 15 km per hour to maintain the required speed of turbine. There should be some backup facilities like storage cells to take care of the energy needs during a period when there is no wind. Establishment of wind energy farms require large area of land. For a 1 megawatt generator, the farm needs about 2 hectares of land. The initial cost of establishment of the farm is quite high. The tower and blades need a high level of maintenance as they exposed to the vagaries of nature like rain, sun, storm and cyclones. So these are some limitations of windmill setup. Next, alternative or non-conventional sources of energy. So, with technological progress, our demand for energy increases day by day. Our lifestyles are changed to great extent. We use machines to do more and more of our tasks. Our basic requirements are also increasing as industrialization improves our living standards. As our demand for energy increases, we need to look for more and more sources of energy. So, to discuss this, let us have an activity 14.4. Find out from your grandparents or other elders how did they go to school, how did they get water for their daily needs when they were young, what means of entertainment did they use. Compare the above answers with you, how you do these tasks now. Is there a difference? If yes, in which case more energy from external sources consumed. So let us take some example. During our grandparents' time, they went to school by walking, while we use vehicles. Then they got water from wells, rivers, etc. But we are having water from bore or using submersible water pumps. Now, social gathering, group meetings, drama, fairs, festivals, celebrations, etc. were the means of their entertainment. And we are using mobile phones, computers most of times besides it, television, watching movies, etc. are the means of entertainment we use. So today we consume much more energy. This is used for transport and day-to-day living style. So I hope you understood this topic clearly. Thank you for listening.